What's going on, everybody? My name's Crypto Corey, and today we've got another video, but it's going to be about Terra Luna, the topic everyone loves to talk about. It's funny because so many people are not invested into Terra Luna are now talking about the project itself. And, I myself never actually invested into Luna. But if I'm going to talk about like what's all going on, because a lot of the big shows and stuff I watch, like Crypto Banter and Cryptos R Us with George, I watched them and they were really, really big on Terra Luna. And I know that BitBoy Crypto talked about it a little bit, and I'd hear about it from various people. But whenever I was like looking into crypto and in my initial investment into crypto, I just wasn't really finding too much about it appealing. Now, with that said, I did buy into Solana, and Solana has had some definite problems where the network just gets so busy that it just shuts down real quick or something. It can't handle the load, and that's happened twice since I've been buying into Solana. Now, I believe that Solana will fix that. That's not necessarily as much of a monetary problem or anything, but I did buy into Cardano. Well, while Cardano actually it's a strong platform, it's actually, I kind of view it now stronger than I view Solana, and prior to that I was a big Solana fan. But I'm actually more favorable for Cardano. Now, there's a lot slower with the implementation of everything, but it's just the blockchain is so good with it. Like, I love the usability of it, and the things that I look into the most right now, other than just my typical bat cows and VV stuff, is I'm looking into Cardano NFTs. I'm looking into the claymation ones. There's a few other ones I'm looking into. I'm not really going to go into my research as of yet until I finish it, but I am looking into a few Cardano NFT projects that I am bullish on. And, I might look into some Solana ones, but as of right now, I'm just a Solana investor, not necessarily getting deep into the Solana, NFTs and stuff like that. But if you were an investor into Luna, you would have to know there's a few things that kind of went on with it. They are not just like just one thing that went down and it's the only thing affected was Terra Luna holders. You gotta understand that there are people who bought into stable coins, UST, and that UST was being staked, I believe, for around 18% in some places. So people probably had so much money just locked up into that by itself. And then you got to think about an entire ecosystem of smart contracts that, all these whatever NFT platforms or whatever they were solving, whatever type of Web3 application that they can utilize, all of those projects just instantly died. They're gone now. It's insane to see that you have a major layer one that just completely is gone just by a sweep. 99.99% drop. It's completely dead. And so many people were putting $100, in it, thinking like, oh, if it pumps back up. And then when you hear the explanation about they're having to basically liquidate Bitcoin in order to try to stay afloat, and it's just not working. Now, they might have the money, but apparently there's a point where you're going to be like, all right, let's just cut our losses, keep a couple $1,000,000, and let's just cry. That's what a few of them are probably going to end up doing one day. And I think this is a hard reality in the blockchain space. It's brand new. You got to understand, like, this is a brand new space, and this stuff is happening, but it's not happening in a way that we, we're like, oh, well, we saw the signs of this, we saw the signs of that. No, this stuff happens, and it happens fast, and it's going to catch you off guard. Now, over time, that's going to change. It's going to be much more like the regular stock market, where when a company fails, you're just kind of like, well, another one. They fail all the time because we're saturated with them. But a layer one solution failing, that's kind of daunting. that makes you worried about things like Solana, and it makes you. I mean, I'm not too concerned about Cardano, but maybe Avalanche, maybe Polygon. I'm a little more worried about those as of late because of what happened to Terra. But I closed out my position with Kronos or CRO or Crypto.com. I closed my position out with them in a huge profit, I would say, which is insane during like bear markets and stuff for as long as it had been. And then we got some bad news for them cutting rates and rewards and stuff, and it doesn't make the card useless like the Ruby Red card that you stake your money for. It just basically makes it to where the points are negligible at that stage. So a lot of people were dumping. I went ahead and dumped mine the second I got the news because I knew that it was just a downhill battle from there. But I'm not saying that Crypto.com's Kronos coin is bad. I'm just saying, like, now you've got a utility coin where basically you can buy NFTs with it. You can buy other stuff with it. You can convert dust into Crypto.com's coin. You can stake and get rewards, and there's a bunch of stuff that I think that it's a coin that will be recovering and doing well in the future. I use Crypto.com itself for a lot of my staking. Now a lot of the staking is the old staking rewards, not the new staking rewards, which I'm not favorable of, but 5% on Bitcoin's not that bad. I'll probably search around for other places, but that's another thing. You've got to be careful where you park your money, because if you're parking your money in a place and you're staking something for a high percentage rate, but where you're staking it isn't safe, it's just you're running that risk. With something like Crypto.com, they have notoriety. They own an entire stadium. They advertise with major athletes and major actors. They support sports teams. They're expanding, and they have a lot of capital behind them. And I think because of things like that, they are a company that's going to last. So staking with them, and by the way, if you're a Polkadot person, you can stake Polkadot with them for 10%, which is awesome. Which I know this video is mostly to be about Terra, but there's not really a whole lot to say about the Terra Luna project. It's just daunting to see a layer 1 of such high regard crash and fail to that extent. Like me closing out my Crypto.com, it's mostly just because the CRO token could plummet. I don't think it'll fail, but it would plummet, and it has gone down a good bit. It's almost at this point down to where I originally bought in. Not quite, but I bought in at like 10 cents. So it's on its way, and I could have sold it and it was $1 almost. So, and I ended up selling it when it was like 30, 35 cents. So it's a good gain, but I definitely missed the top, and I could buy back in. I've got good profit off of it, so now I can redeploy that money, maybe back into it, maybe into something else. We'll just have to see. But right now, all my money is sitting on the sideline, and I'm accruing more money on the sideline. US dollar, I'm putting USD on the sideline. I'm accruing dollars at the current moment. Also, there's a recession on the way, or it looks, all the signs are pointing to recession. So what I'm doing right now is I'm keeping dollars on the sideline, and then I'm waiting for the deepest, darkest, scariest bottoms of the market, of the economy, or whatever you want to say. I want to find the bottom of all of that, and then that's when I want to redeploy my money. Now, the only reason I'm able to do this is because of where I live and the lifestyle that I live. So, and this is something that if you were gonna try to figure out how am I gonna make money, I live paycheck to paycheck and stuff. These are some things that I would say that everyone needs to do to assess how they can utilize their money in a down market or in a down economy. First off, are you living in an area where people are migrating to? So if you're in any of these major cities right now, A lot of these major cities and these states, whether you want to call them liberal, blue states, democratic states, whatever, a lot of people just are leaving some of those areas, more highly populated areas, and they are coming to places like South Carolina. They're going to Florida, they're going to Texas, they're going to Atlanta, they're going to various places in the southeast and the south, or more red states. Now, that doesn't mean that if you are a Democrat or a blue state person, that means that those blue states or Democrats are necessarily bad. It just means that the current moment, people are leaving the blue states and going to the red states. Doesn't mean that those people favor those policies either, because my focus is just on what's actually happening. So what you want to be, and that's just the current situation, what you want to be is you want to be in an area where people are flocking to. Next thing is cost of living. You want a cheap cost of living. There's a reason why people are flocking to South Carolina, and there's a reason why people are flocking to my area of South Carolina. It's a vacation spot. It's actually cheap on taxes. People can start businesses here, and there's plenty of land that they can buy and start a business. And our economy has been booming for a long time, and we've been one of the fastest growing counties, fastest growing cities in the entire United States, along with just Charleston, South Carolina. I think is definitely one of the top growth areas that we've had. I think Columbia has been too. I'm actually from Columbia, South Carolina, but you want to be in an area that has low cost of living, that jobs are going to, and our income isn't that high, but our income is higher than what the cost of living typically is. Now, there are sections of Florida where the cost of living is much lower than where I even live, and the income ratio is even better. So if you're looking for places, I would almost recommend Florida over South Carolina, but we are a fast-growing state. Texas, I don't really know how much about it. I know it's a heavily populated area. I don't know if it's like a place I would necessarily want to move to, just because of the topography of the state. It's just not. I like more like foothills, mountains, beaches, swamps. I'm a Kakalaki boy for a reason. I can deal with a little bit of Florida, but I want to be able to get to the mountains quickly. I like to fly fish. So there's that. And then, if you really want to know how you can survive some of these recessions and dips and stuff, and deploy your money into the market at the bottom instead of pulling your money out at the bottom so you can pay for bills, your investment should not be viewed as something you need during an emergency. While I understand that you might sell all of your stuff and be able to pay off bills, that's not the purpose of your investment. It's not to pay bills. The purpose of your investment is to enrich your future, or to enrich your life sooner, whether you're a day trader or whether you're an investor, long-term investor. So if you can keep putting your money in and not taking your money out, that's preferable. And the only way you're going to do that is by keeping your debt down, and by keeping your expenses down, and keeping your income higher than your debts and your expenses. So, it's a difficult problem, but here's something I want to say to everyone. I don't have cable. I paid up front 3 years for Disney Plus, which I haven't paid. It's still within that 3-year time span. So, and I'm not saying I'm going to get rid of my Disney Plus, but there are apps and stuff that if you're being charged monthly for it, that's just a regular accruing cost. If you can bulk it and get a cheaper package for a year, 2 years, 3 years, it'll save you a few bucks. Or just get rid of it altogether. I don't have cable. I have no cable at all. I have internet, and I have a couple of apps. I've got Disney, and I've got Hulu. That's it. That's all I pay for. I pay for Disney, I pay for Hulu. Everything else, I'm just on the internet, I'm online. I'm just not really big into paying for streaming services. I don't hate or dislike or like some streaming services. Some people have logged their streaming service in on my my TVs and stuff, and I can just use theirs if I want to. So, just save yourself some money by lowering your expenses. If you're have a car payment, maybe, and the car payment, I think, is the area most people are spending a lot of their income on. They have like a $500 a month car payment. $500 a month for a car? For something that drives you point A to point B. And look how expensive cars are now. Look how difficult it is just to get the cars into the United States. You're already locked into a $500 a month car payment, and your car is probably like 5-6 years old. Like, that's scary. That is super scary. Like, what if your car breaks down? It's starting to get to the point to where you're spending $500-600 a month, and then now you've got to spend whatever, $1,000 to go get some new pump for your vehicle. These emergency costs will happen. But when you have a car payment, you can't just take care of the maintenance on your vehicle and the car payment and invest all at the same time. So what I'd recommend is, if you have a car and it's paid off, stay that way. Don't just go buy yourself a new car. If you're in a car you shouldn't be in, and you can go trade it in right now and go get yourself a cheaper car payment, or just have a car that's paid for, then go do that. Especially if it's a good driving vehicle, you can afford the maintenance on it, and the maintenance will be a lot cheaper than you realize compared to what it would cost to maintain a vehicle you're also paying payments on. So that's the thing, is the general maintenance on vehicles, or small fixes on vehicles. Now, obviously, major problems with vehicles like transmissions, engines, oil pumps, gas pumps, water pumps, whatever, like all those things, those are some major items, so you want to get those inspected before you buy a vehicle. I know it's all long form and crazy and stuff, but this is just people, I don't understand how they don't get this, for keeping your expenses down, your monthly payments on things down. The next thing is your food. At this point, going out to eat and buying food at the grocery store is just both expensive. The best thing for you to do is just come up with the best healthy game plan for you and your family. Buy bulk if you have that availability. If you going out to eat is honestly cheaper than a lot of the grocery store stuff, where some of it kind of is sometimes, then just do what you need to do. But don't overeat. That's about it. Not that it matters any other way other than your wallet, And then, the frivolous things that we spend our money on. There's this one thing. I have a vape pen. This right here cost me like $55 every single 2 weeks, something like that. Every single week, every single 2 weeks. If you're a vapor and you do any type of vaping at all, you potentially are wasting a ton of money, and things like that you can cut out. Same thing and it's funny because a lot of people are like, yeah, those dirty vapors and cigarette smokers and stuff. Coffee. If you like Starbucks and you like Dunkin' Donuts and you like to get nice fancy coffee, I recommend you getting a nice roast, get it grounded, make yourself your own coffee at home, but save yourself some money and stop buying the expensive $5 to $10 coffees in the morning. That by itself will save you a ton. Now, I could go into renting versus owning and stuff, but at this point, the way the markets are, it's really difficult to give you any thoughts on it because it could go either way. So just make sure, just in that general sense, get your cost and expenses down. Now, if we're going to talk about income, this is the aspect a lot of people are the disparities really start to happen. Some people have a high level of income, some people have a low level of income, some people have no income at all and are being taken care of by outside people. So no matter who you are, what you need to do is you need to gain more making money. Inflation is at 8.5%. I think it's now down to 8.3%. So if you last year to this year are not making 8% more, 9% more on your income, then you, my friend, you got to pay cut. Essentially, that's what happened. You got to pay cut because everything's more expensive. So you want to get a job that pays you money. Stop caring about does this fulfill me? Is this my what I want to do? That's all. I never had choices. Like, I was going to be a stunt actor, and I was in a stunt company, and I was performing professionally doing stunt work, and I just kept getting injured. And if any of you used to work in the stunt industry, you would know getting insurance is one of the most difficult things known to man with your chosen profession. Now, luckily in the company I had, they basically took care of things for you, but the injuries sustained were not going to sustain my career forever. So I was young, I was in my early 20s, and I kind of just figured out I need to get out of this now. So I went into the one place I knew I could make the most money, had the most future, which was with a family company doing construction. So I went from being a stunt actor, making more money, and I actually ended up making, I was making $13 an hour at the time. And then I went and worked for family, and I the wrong kind of jump, downward jump. I was making $13 an hour, and I dropped down to $8 an hour. Now, both were full-time, so I worked full-time. I had a full-time job. I had some basic benefits from both. Neither were cheap or good, but I went from $13 an hour to $8 an hour, and then I stuck with the family company. And I know a lot of family companies, they treat the family nice. I'm not saying mine didn't or don't, but I have a rough and tough family for sure. But basically, I went down to lower income and then worked my way up through the company professionally. Went to night school. I had relationships suffer because of that, and I made that step up the ladder, and I earned my way to being able to get all my certifications and hopefully take over the company one day. Now, many of you don't have that opportunity, so what I would probably recommend is, I'm not saying education is the route to go, but if you are getting involved in a trade, you want to move forward in your trade, and you want to be the guy that everyone depends on. When they depend on you, you will be able to not leverage yourself to gain more money. You'll be able to just tell them, hey, I've been doing XYZ for the company. You are benefiting from me. I would love to do more for you. I want to do more work for you, and I want to do better work for you to make more money. I would like to have that opportunity and to have a raise accompanying that opportunity. So that's basically where you need to take it. And if that doesn't work out, politely finding a new company is a good route. As long as you're a good employee, you need to be a good employee. And then maybe one day you can be an employer. Owning your own business truly helps out with income. It truly does. With how you can structure everything, you're not having to divvy your money out left and right so much. Man, this video turned into a lot, didn't it? It's 23, 24 minutes. Wow. Crypto might be down, but your money shouldn't just be made in crypto. I'm in NFTs. Your money should not be made in just NFTs. I sell physical collectibles. I sell art. I sell a bunch of things. I have a few businesses that I personally just started, and then I've been investing and flipping and stuff in the digital space. And then also I work for a living, a full-time job. I barely sleep. I have 2 kids. I spend a lot of time with them. And, I've missed some opportunities in crypto because of spending time with family and being at my other job. So, it's a really hard balancing act. It's difficult. And I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, anyone can be rich, like rich dad, poor dad advice, or Tony Robbins and stuff. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm just here to give you some straight facts. If you want to make money, you want to do well, you've got to follow some basic steps. You don't need to deviate from them. You don't need to waste your money away. You don't need to limit yourself to earnings that are less than par of your potential. And if you have high potential and you're not utilizing it in some way, I'm not saying you got to go be some beast of business or beast of work, but just put a little bit of extra effort in, just a little bit, not much. And no one's asking you for 110%. They're just asking you to just do your job. Like, that separates you from so many other people. You don't have to go and give it your all, sir. You just go in and be like, yes, sir, let's go get this done. Let's get it started. We'll see where it goes. And you just move forward. Investment advice, I've got none right now. I'm holding and I'm waiting for the bottom of the market. I've got emergency fund. I've got 3 to 6 months sitting on the sideline. I've got side money other than that that's waiting to be invested. And I'm waiting for the bottom of this market, and I hope you are, because that's the opportunities, the best opportunities. And I'm going to be buying into top 10 coins. I just feel they're the safest place. Now, with the Terra Luna, we just saw a top coin fail completely. So be careful out there, get to know the projects, get to know your investment. Don't just, FOMO into something. I'm seeing people say that to buy into Shiba Inu now because it's been pumping for a few hours. But if you look at the history of Shiba, it's almost back to where it started before any pumps. So, I'm not saying Shiba is going to be gone forever. I'm just saying, if it doesn't have a use case, maybe hold off, even if it's pumping, until you find out some real news. I'd rather make lower gains and solid gains than make high gains or high losses. I want to thank you for joining me. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. My name's Crypto Corey, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day.